Hey, what's up, you guys? Johnny Bean here. If you're brand new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you like guitars, if you like rock music, if you like good conversation, and especially on Tuesdays, because this is the Van Halen day. You know, I call it Eat One Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So subscribe to the channel, hang out with us for a couple, and we'll have a good time. All right, you guys, let's do this. This is Johnny Bean TV.
Hey, this is Michael Anthony right here, and you are watching exclusively Van Halen on the Johnny Bean TV. Keep it there. Woo! See ya!
We made it, dude. Yeah,
Hello,
I thought we were
everybody.
gonna lose Facebook because we started 09 after and it just hit 10 after. See, that's the thing, you guys. When we do these shows, we say 8 p.m. Eastern is when the show starts. Technically, we have till about 8 minutes, 9 minutes afterwards before we lose the Facebook feed. But I don't know. It was 09 according to the clock, and we're there. We're there.
Go.
We are there.
We were there.
Yeah, you guys. So, hey, I'm Johnny Bean. This is...
Ron Gunner.
Welcome, you guys. This is exclusively Van Halen, the Van Halen show on YouTube, on Twitch, on X, on Facebook. Basically, on the internet. This is an internet show. So, if you guys like this show, wherever you're watching from, consider following, consider subscribing, consider,
Share
all
it with
that
your
stuff.
friends.
Sharing. Yeah, share with your friends, even with your enemies, your frenemies, we got plenty of those. Share these videos out, you guys. And yeah. So, hey, before we start, let's say hello to the top tier of channel members here on the Johnny Bean YouTube station. Channel membership, it's a great way to help support the channel and support these shows. And the top tier are the executive producers. And they're currently Sherman Callahan, CC, who was in my chat yesterday at Guitar Center, Nova 9, Michael Smith, Music Therapy Laz, R. Habs, Warlag, Fairfield Guitar Co., Majestic PB and J Cat, who's playing Call of Duty right now, and Janice Lala, the intern.
The greatest of all time.
Yeah, I see you. She's watching the commercial right now.
Cece was probably in the chat looking for
Thank
his
you.
guitar.
Well, wrong show.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That guitar used to be here. It used to live back there. Now it's somewhere else. Not my problem. So you guys, if you guys like your Van Halen, this is the place you want to be. So consider subscribing to the channel. We talk all things Van Halen. We talk news. We talk trivia. We do giveaways. And actually tonight we're going to give away a Van Halen vinyl 45.
Uh-oh.
This is new old stock. Like, this is brand new. This is actually from like 1990. And it's totally brand new. There you go, you guys. Van Halen,
So it's
Pretty Woman.
34 years old. Wow.
Yeah, it's brand new. Brand new. Backed with Dancing in the Street. There you go. So if you guys want to win this, I think we're going to do the old number generator game. However that goes. So towards the end of the show tonight, you guys will have to type a number in the chat to win. Okay? So we'll do that little later on.
Remember a long time ago you asked what my favorite Van Halen song was? I thought about it again, listened to a few this past weekend, and I have to say, Drop Dead Legs.
Oh, very good.
There's just something about that guitar sound and that song in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to establish that right now. That's my favorite VH song.
It's the era. I mean, 1984. I mean, great era for Van Halen. I mean, you guys know that was the last album with David Lee Roth, until the Van Hagar era. And Eddie was writing a lot of songs back then, So definitely a great song. And actually, that's one where Eddie he did an interview with Lisa Robinson. This was on the '84 tour, and he was actually saying that he can't pick a favorite song. He's like Drop Dead Legs. It's no better than Jump, because it's all to him. It's all his music. And as a musician, if you write your own stuff, maybe you can relate to that. You can't pick a favorite. I mean, you like them all, So that's a good question, though. You guys in the chat, what is your favorite Van Halen song? Let us know in the chat. Actually, we should be taking advantage.
Making a poll. See, I think initially I said it was Everybody Wants Some, but that came on the other. I was listening to it here on one of the satellite stations to come on, and then when I was in the car the other night, it came on again, which is all decked out with the bass and everything. So I cranked it up, and I got to thinking, you know what? That's probably my favorite Van Halen song. That one.
You said probably.
Yeah. Well, so far, yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing when you have a band that has just so many great songs and different eras of vocalists. Myself, I can't choose a favorite. People have tried for years and years and years, and they try to get me to say, well, what's your favorite album at least? And I always give them the old, well, I've got this cassette that has Women, Children First and Fair Warning on both, so it's like a 2-for-1. Actually, that came out the same time as this 45 here, same exact time. The Warner Brothers.
So let me ask you
albums.
this:
Mm-hmm.
if you had to listen to just one Van Halen album from now on, which would it be?
Depends on the day. You mean right now?
Yeah.
You mean
right
today?
Now, right now, if it was like, you know what? You can never hear another Van Halen album or song other than whatever you're going to pick right now for the rest of your life.
Man, yeah, that's
And you can't say the tape with double albums because that's two albums,
man.
and it's a tape and it'll wear out. So
I know. Tapes are making a comeback, though, actually.
you have to have that pencil rewind.
Yeah.
Kids today don't know what the hassle that caused. Pull out your tape player real easy and try to get the tape out without breaking, and then sit there with a pencil or a pen and rewind it.
Mm-hmm. They're actually discovering that because tapes are back in style. There's major releases that are being released on cassette nowadays. Tape players are back. Vinyl never really went away.
Did over here on the East Coast.
Yeah, out here it never did. Because we have Amoeba Music, we have Rasputin's, we have two of the greatest vinyl record shops ever. So for us, vinyl never went away. It was always here.
I hope they never bring back the 8-track, for God's sake.
No, that.
Be right in the middle of Jump solo to the next track, your next channel. Now, reel to reel, I love the reel to reels. I still got one. I love those.
Do you use it?
Yeah, actually I have. I haven't recorded anything on it in, oh my God, probably since 88, 89. But I got the big reels that's got like hours of songs that I made mix tape from years ago. And we're talking like maybe 2 or 3 hours per one side of that reel. Just nonstop music. That was probably 87. So.
Janice says, I know all about cassettes. Yeah. Oh, you have a reel-to-reel tape, but no player. Yeah. Yeah, same here. Several years ago, well, many years ago, I used to go, these bands that I were, that I ran, these groups that I was the manager, I was the guitar player, I was the one writing all the music. We used to go to this it's actually a very famous school out here called Expressions. It's called Expressions for New Media. And it's state-of-the-art studio. And at the time, you could go there and record for free. Cool. But it was students that were running the machines, students that were doing all the stuff. So you're basically a guinea pig. Yep. But you could go in there, run the stuff for free. And if you knew what you were doing, like you could tell them, well, hey, try this or try that. So we would spend, we'd go in for a weekend, spend, a couple days. And generally what I would, and this was on tape too. So I still have the reel-to-reel tapes of that stuff, and this goes back many years. So, but the one thing I would do was I would ask for a couple different mixes, but I would make sure to get a really nice mix of the drums only. And then I would pretty much every time come back to my studio and I would have the drums totally done. We would re-record everything over those drums. That's how how most of our demos would get done, Probably even today. I would still do that today,
I now have the masters for all our releases, but I don't have the 2-inch tape player.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't do anything. Even though I got them, I can't do anything with them. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys, look at this. What's your favorite Van Halen song? So you were asking me, my if I can only listen to one
album.
One album.
From now on, never another Van Halen song.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd have to say maybe a greatest hits because it has, a mix of some different stuff. I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
I can understand.
But hey,
that.
Yeah. Brian Davies, what's up, man? Who else is here? We got Sean Spring. What's your favorite EVH outfit, Johnny? Jumpsuit, shirtless, to be honest. Favorite EVH outfit?
As long as you don't say the outfit he wore in that video with Gary Sharon with the hat.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That one. And the reason for that is because the guitar, I've always wanted that guitar that he's playing in that video. It's a Wolfgang special PV with P90s. And they were never manufactured to the public. You had to build your own. And that's actually something I'm planning on doing when I get into the brand new studio. I'm planning to build guitars. I'll make a Wolfgang with P90s,
Well, I've been working on my side of the repair room over there because we're going live. So I figured I'd better finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. Van Halen lyrics, they're all great. Hard to beat. That's right. Van Halen lyrics. Welcome, man. See, I like that. Look at that avatar. Has both eras on that. Yeah. That is cool. Mark's Gas Station. What's up? Tyler Johnston guitar. What's up, dude? Mike Wood. Hey, dude.
Mike.
Dude, thank you again for your help. Mike did some of the post-production on the Bob Daisley video that we put out. I think it was Saturday night.
It's over 1,000 views already.
I know.
That's great.
I can see I see the analytics from the inside, Ron. See, people do that. I get messages. People message me saying, hey, your video's at this many views, this many. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. But, but I never tell them it's actually double what you guys see. Because, it rolls out, it has a slow rollout. Like what I see is totally different from what you guys see. But thank you again, Mike Wood, for the post-production, I guess.
Yeah.
On the video, and
Thank
we'll
you very
definitely we'll definitely be doing some more stuff in the future. Jabal, what's up, man? So he says 5150. Okay, so you guys are answering favorite songs or favorite albums.
Unchained.
Greg is saying Unchained. Cheryl is saying great song. Great selection, Ron. Oh, for Drop Dead Legs.
Thank you.
You know, Greg saying Sammy or Dave. There's the sound for that. I got no problem. I got no problem with that.
I like in Drop Dead Legs. I like the guitar sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the very beginning, I really like that guitar sound. I got to hand him that one. He had that.
84 era sound is great. I mean, I've said on, you know, I've done hundreds, if not thousands, of these shows over the years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've said many times the 84 era of Eddie Van Halen's guitar tone live is one of my favorites. Like if you find a really good 84 sounding show, or just even the stuff he did outside of the band, the Wildlife soundtrack, you know, all that kind of stuff. That era, 83, 84, he had a really nice sound, which a lot of people, they call that the Brown sound. When Eddie talked about the Brown sound, it was always about his brother's snare drum sound. It was never about the guitar sound, but people mistook that. And so everybody now thinks Eddie's talking about that's a guitar tone. It's the drum sound is what it is, but it applies to guitar. It really, I think it applies to anything, you know, anything that sounds natural, sounds good.
But what's the significance of Brown sound? Why name it that?
Because Al's snare drum sounded like a log, like wood, like he was playing like a tree or something. That's kind of what he meant by that. So it's, and like trees are brown. So that's where that comes from. You know, and Alex did have very unique drum sound. You know,
and snares.
Well, yeah, the snare, because it's the way
which he doesn't own anymore.
It's the way he tuned it.
Yeah,
it's the way he tuned it. The way his snare drum was tuned is really what he means by
I'm
that.
not hitting a rim shot.
There you go. Sky Prop, Little Guitars is a good one. You like Summer Nights, Unchained, Panama? Oh, so yeah, there's so many. I mean, you can't just choose, you know, just one. Michael B, Diver Down, Little Guitars. Yeah, Mickey Settlemeyer. Hey, dude. What's up, man?
Mickey.
Yeah. Let me see. Uncle Raymond is saying, has anyone seen the bedroom guitarist on YouTube doing Romeo Delight?
No, sir.
Actually, the truth is, every guitar player on YouTube is in their bedroom. And they're always wearing shorts. Always. The snare is the thing. It's Eat One Tuesday. That's right, Clayton. Welcome, dude. Yeah, that's right. Too many songs. Depends on your mood. Depends on the time of day. Depends on if you've been listening to one era long enough. You're like, yeah, you know, need to listen to the other thing, whatever. I mean, that's the great thing about a band that has different eras of music. As you can, and the thing is, you don't have to choose.
But that's why I said right now. Right now, if you had to pick one album.
Well, right now is a Van Hagar era song.
That's why I said that. So.
And the thing is, you know, you guys know I run one of the largest Van Halen groups on Facebook. We're called Exclusively Van Halen. A lot of, you know, interesting debates in there. That's one of the issues is people always have to argue. They wake up every day and argue about the singer. Every day. So, I mean, let them do it. I mean, that doesn't bother me. I mean, I get dragged into these fights and conversations. Although I got no problem with either of it, because to me, it's all Van Halen. You know, I mean, yeah, there's a different singer on this one, or the era sounds different, but what a lot of people really, they don't like talk about or understand, or sometimes maybe just don't even know. Depending on an era of an album, is that a lot of times that album sounds like the era it came out, the year, and Van Halen goes back to the 70s. So you got that first album, which, does it have a 70s sound? Not really.
No,
Not
because
really.
77, that's right after 76, which was the height of the disco era.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God there's no disco type music on there.
No, but actually, okay, that's a good. I told you guys we do trivia. What's a Van Halen song that kind of has kind of a disco sound to it? There's at least one song. It has kind of a disco.
Boogie Shoes.
Say?
Feel.
There's one song that I'm thinking of, and it came out. Well, I don't want to give it away. Let's see if you guys can guess.
Dance the Night Away, Running with the Devil.
There's one tune. Okay, I'll give you guys a couple of hints. It came out in the 80s.
I was a little late.
It came out in the 80s. And it's not so much like a dance song, but as a musician, if you listen to it, you're like, wait a minute, they're actually playing, that's actually a disco riff that's being played.
Here's one for you. Are there any pictures of any of the Van Halen band members at Studio 54?
There's probably a photo of Dave Lee Roth there. Probably.
I'd say out of all of them, I'd say it would have been him.
Yeah. Yeah. Disco sucks. Rock Daddy's saying.
I had a shirt that said "Die Before Disco."
Oh, man. Well, see, for a lot of you guys, I'm a little younger, so for me, there really wasn't a disco era for me. I was too young. I didn't get into music till later on. Okay. I'm Batman, or Hey, I'm Batman. Hi, I'm Batman. You're close. You're very close. The song is actually on that same album. I think you guys will get it. Besides Dancing in the Street. Yeah. Actually, Dancing in the Street probably was played in if discos were still around in the early 80s. That song was probably played. Well, actually, I mean, it depends. I think in other countries, I think discos
Still
probably
around.
Still around even today. Yeah. Okay, you guys are getting warmer. There's one song, okay? There's one song, and it's not necessarily the guitar. And if you hear it, you're like, wait a minute, that's like disco.
You got me on that one.
I'm trying to think of what the song's called now. I forget.
Leisure Suit and Lounge. Rocky, I had a picture on here when I first joined the show of me in 1980 going to the prom, and I looked like I dressed from the wardrobe from the original movie Carrie. It was like a sky blue velour type tux with the dark blue edges on everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I just figured out what the song is.
I was getting ready to dump pig blood on her.
Anybody say it? Dude, I actually have a video of me talking to the guy that was standing next to her in that movie.
Oh, The Greatest American Hero?
Yeah, I have a video where he's actually talking to me. Anyway, yeah, William Catt, about 13, 14 years ago I talked to him. I've got the video lined up in here.
Yeah, that senior prom was like everybody rated the wardrobe for that 1976 movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not singing the song. Anyway, the song I'm talking about is off Fair Warning, and it's the bass line to Push Comes to Shove. If you guys listen to that, that's like if you speed it up, that's a 70s disco bass line. If you can think of it.
Man, the commercials are flying tonight.
Oh yeah,
it's about 10 since we've started so far. See, I'm thinking doon 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 doon.
Yeah, just slow that down. And that was the bass line. Okay, let's how do you there we go. Okay. All right, let's get into some we got some news here. Yo, what's up, Mark? What's up, man? Hey, Russell. GSN 72 channel member.
Scotty.
What's up, dude? Greg. Skyprop. Michael B. What's up, dudes? Okay, so we've got some actually we have several pieces of news here. And if I can just find it. Okay. Actually, let's hey Keith. Let me get your comments on this. I talked about this the other day. Aerosmith. We didn't talk about this, right? I don't think this was over the weekend.
No, you went on your own.
Yeah. Aerosmith has decided to stop playing live. I don't think they broke up.
We did talk about that.
On Friday? Did we?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Well, anyway, we'll talk about it again. Trying to fill the 4-hour show tonight. So, Aerosmith has decided to call it quits as far as playing live. I don't think they're breaking up. I haven't heard anything about busting up, about not recording anymore. But Steven Tyler has come out and said he can't sing anymore.
It's a serious vocal cord injury.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, not just touring anymore. He's saying. Okay, so we talk about this Friday. When did that? Anyway, late last week, they announced this. And so you guys know that Sammy Hagar is out there on tour, Best of All Worlds. And they came out, and the video is actually on YouTube. You guys can watch it. There's a video of Sammy telling the audience, oh, Aerosmith, they're good friends of ours. And unfortunately, they're retiring from the stage, from playing live. And Sammy told a story about, I think he said when he was in Montrose, they opened up for Aerosmith, and when their closing song was Helter Skelter by the Beatles, and when Aerosmith came out, their opening song was Helter Skelter. Imagine being at a concert where the opening band ends with one song and the band comes out and plays the same thing. Yeah, that must have been kind of strange. At least for bands, backstage. So anyway, so Sammy goes on to say, him and Steven Tyler, they've been good friends ever since, kind of joking around about that, and how Aerosmith was kind of their competitors in the 80s and probably into the 90s, because those are two bands that since the 70s were always around, always had hits. Were always mainstream. Van Halen,
Well,
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith kind of went downhill like 80 to 84, and then then they got back in the late 80s, got popular again.
Because of who?
Your buddy, DC.
Desmond Child. Yeah,
So you need to get a channel ID from him.
I know. I'm trying to get a hold of him. Trying to get him. One of these days, you guys, we'll get him. But yeah, Desmond Child, he co-wrote those huge hits.
Love in an Elevator.
No, I don't think he did that one. Nah, Dude Looks Like a Lady, huge. Angel, huge. I think he did What It Takes off that album, I think. But so during the 80s, even into the 90s, Van Hagar era, Aerosmith, always around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walk This Way. I think that was my introduction actually to Aerosmith. Walk This Way with Run DMC.
See,
yeah.
Well, I thought that was great, that Walk This Way.
Mm-hmm.
But it got blown away by Bring the Noise.
Mm-hmm.
From Public Enemy and Anthrax.
Hmm.
That one that you put metal and rap together there, that was it right there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that created a lot of a new genre.
Oh, yeah.
Into the 90s.
In Bring the Noise, they even say something about Run DMC and Aerosmith in that song.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Janice is bummed out.
They faded it out. Bummer. Huh? Faded what
She
up?
was listening to the song.
Oh. Greg saying Toys in the Attic, best album. Yeah. Yeah, see, for me, Ron, we're roughly, 8 to 10 years difference?
Yeah.
I think I just gave my age away. I'm actually 70. Yeah, if we can made the other direction.
Johnny's 11 years older than me.
Yeah, we're but the thing is, we're far enough away in age. Well, even let's say if we were even just 5 years apart. In the world of music, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So for you, the stuff you were listening to, like you had said, you had a shirt that said "Disco sucks,"
But Die Before Disco.
or "Die Before Disco," whatever. Me, disco really means nothing to me as far as music because that wasn't my scene. It wasn't anything, So let's say, we'll get back to the Aerosmith. That Run DMC collab, that really was my introduction to Aerosmith and Run DMC. That era, Joe Perry, Steven Tyler, busting the wall down or whatever that
comes through the microphone stand.
Yeah. So I saw that. To me that was Aerosmith, and then after that, I think it was after that was Permanent Vacation, which is the Desmond Child hits. Dude Looks Like a Lady, all that.
They said, and when they were recording Love in an Elevator, because it's got them all talking, but they're all saying different things, like they're in an elevator. So what they did is they took one article out of a magazine, tore it up, and handed each person a piece of that same article. So all they did was read what was there. Not even complete sentences.
Yeah. There's a lot of songs that have a lot of talking in the background. Well, a Van Halen one. There's a song called Inside off 5150. And you hear the band just talking the entire time. Just different conversations. That's something that'd actually be pretty cool to hear if they did an expanded edition of 5150. To hear like an isolated track of that. That would be cool. So anyway, Steven Tyler, he's having vocal cord issues. the band isn't going to tour anymore. So anyway, Sammy Hagar, you know, on his Best of All Worlds tour, paid tribute to Aerosmith. You know, which I think a lot of bands, you know, are probably doing.
Yeah,
that's a
cool.
big deal. That's
Yep.
a big that's I mean that's, even though they didn't say, hey, we're retiring or we're not recording, although that could be next, I don't know.
But look at it this way, Aerosmith has been a band your entire life.
Longer than my life.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But your entire life, they've been a band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've definitely influenced a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Raymond says he saw Aerosmith at the Pontiac Silverdome in '75.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah. So anyway, all the best to Steven Tyler and Aerosmith. You know, I don't think they're going to go away, but as far as live, it's unfortunate. I never saw them live. You know, that's one band I never saw.
Quite a few times.
You know, what tours did you see?
It was the Pump,
you said you worked for him.
Yeah, the Pump.
1990 era.
I have somewhere.
89, 90.
I got the passes somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually in a frame. It was because the if I'm not mistaken, the pass has a picture of like a waitress or something, like a cartoon almost, like a painting of a waitress or something. Maybe it's an elevator. When the people would take you up in the elevator, might have been that one. But like I said before, the stage was all like the top of a building. It said hotel, but backwards.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean Aerosmith. I mean one of the great bands of well, not
all
just
time.
70s, 80s, or I mean they're in that definitely in the you know, same level as the Stones, Van Halen. There's only so many bands you can name that came from the 70s. You know, 70s, 80s. So, let's see. Slim Jim was sent insight on 50/50 as Sammy's intro to Van Halen and feeling on balance is his exit. Interesting.
What surprised me most about Aerosmith was because prior to working for them, I'd only seen them, you know, on video.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I finally actually got to meet them, they're like 5'2", 5'3", weighed 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, what the?
If you come out to NAMM show and you meet me, don't laugh, okay? I'm actually 3'2". I stand on a huge box. You want to see what I stand on when I do these shows?
Is it a milk carton?
I stand on this huge box when I do these shows. You know, I stand on this. Just kidding.
But I mean, it was a shock because, you know, you're used to seeing them on TV, you know, MTV, all that. And then I'm like, hello? You know, it was like, wow.
That's how it is.
I know.
That's how it is. I mean,
it was just the opposite for the WWF. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I'm same size as these guys. And I walk up and they're like a foot and a half taller than me. Like, damn.
yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, so all right, so we got that. Anyway, you guys, if you're an Aerosmith fan, yeah, I mean it's just kind of sad, but I mean that's what's happening nowadays is a lot of our favorite
Well, what? He's 70
bands.
Steven Tyler's what? 76?
I don't know.
Computer, how old is Steven Tyler? 76.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. When I was a kid, if you were 76, you were like in a wheelchair, hunched over, and
Oh, sure.
now you look at him, you look at Mick Jagger, 81, 82. Andy Summers is what, 80? 79, 80, somewhere around there.
Not sure. I don't know. What? You're talking about my man. So the musicians that come from the era of the Andy Summers goes back to the 60s.
Yeah.
He was in a band called The Animals in the 60s. You probably didn't even know that. So
I know the band, The Animals.
And yeah, he was in that. And then when he was in bands and music forever.
Was that House
By
of
the
the Rising
time-
Sun?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. In the chat, is it? I'm not sure. But when Andy was in the Police, that was like he had been in bands for many years by that point. And he finally had, the worldwide success. But the musicians, or let's just say this is a rock show. I was going to say entertainers, but that's different. The musicians that come from the era of the 60s, the ones that are still out there now.
Paul McCartney.
Touring. I mean, it's very, the list is very, very few. Paul McCartney.
Ringo.
I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? John Fogerty from CCR.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be pushing 80.
Mm-hmm. He's from
and
here.
And it's great to see those guys still out there. That's what I'm saying. When I was a kid, if you were that age, that was the last thing you'd ever, see him like Mick Jagger running around on stage singing at 80 plus years old. That was never thought of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the key. The key is keeping in shape, eating right, all the stuff that none of us want to hear.
Jersey Mikes.
No Jersey Mikes. Nope. None of that. Well, at least don't eat the bread. Bread. But yeah, very few musicians, bands, but the ones that are still doing it, I mean, it's great. I mean, you just said Andy Summers. He's on tour right now. He's down in Brazil right now touring.
Well, it's weird because, like Bob said in the interview, Bob Daisley, he said he wanted to do this, and they're like, "What are you going to do when you're 30?"
Mm-hmm.
Because in the 50s and early 60s, when you were in your 30s, you were done, pretty much. It wasn't till somewhere around the Stones, the Beatles, and all those that they started extending it.
Well, it was back then where you always said don't trust anybody over 30.
Well,
and then the Who had the song "Hope I Die Before I Get Old," all that type of stuff. It was a very different. Plus, rock and roll was new back then. It was a new thing. Bands were jumping right into it, and a lot of them didn't. I mean, their careers are real short.
So, what year was I don't want to say what year they start playing, but as far as Van Halen, maybe not necessarily the name Van Halen, but what year was their first official band? I don't just mean Alex and Eddie playing in
Van Halen, or you mean them? You mean them just jamming?
Yeah. What year was their first initial band? That had to be early 70s, right?
Late
70s. Okay.
Late 60s. Yeah, I'm friends with the guy who was actually in a band with the brothers. He was actually, I think he was like their manager at one point too, and they were kids. He's called into the show actually before, long time ago. They were in a band. They were called the Trojan Rubber Company. Or what my buddy, he calls it TRC, is what he calls the band. And but it was a whole bunch of musicians. It wasn't just like 3 people. There was like a whole list of there was, several, guitar players, But as far as Van Halen, after that, I think there was a couple things, and then they became Mammoth, which is where Wolfgang.
And what
got
year
the
was
name
that?
from.
72?
That was like early 70s.
Yeah.
72, 71, 72, 73, maybe into 74. Van Halen became Van Halen in 74. So 50 years ago, they became Van Halen. Slim Jim is saying Toto, another great band. It's been around forever, out there touring.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know Toto was actually, almost all the Toto was Boz Scaggs' band. Jeff Porcaro on the drum, just like Linda Ronstadt when she first came out, the Eagles were basically her band. Then they only did a couple shows with her, then they decided to do their own thing. That's another band from back then, the Eagles. They're still
They
out.
decided to fly away.
Yeah.
They decided to take off.
Spread their wings and be free.
Those guys are still doing stuff. I saw a video on TikTok of Joe Walsh walking down the street or something.
And I'm still going to get you that channel ID from him, too.
Cool. Yeah, that reminds me. Somebody asked me if I got one from Bob Daisley. I totally forgot. So we'll have to at least get some audio.
I was going to ask him that the night we did the recording. I was going to ask if he would do that, and I thought, well, it's your show, not mine. So
I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking because normally we don't pre-record shows. We're live. We're always live. So I'm more nervous recording than I am live. It's a totally different thing, So, the wheelchair tour. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Anyway, you said Linda Ronstadt. Van Halen covered Linda Ronstadt. Since this is the Van Halen show, I like to bring things back to Van Halen.
Yeah.
They covered Linda Ronstadt. In the chat, what was the Linda Ronstadt song that Van Halen covered? What was the name of that? They probably did cover that, but I mean on record.
Oh,
they
okay.
recorded one of them. In the chat. And then there was another group you mentioned. You mentioned Eagles.
CCR, Toto, Boz Scaggs.
Toto was basically the Thriller album band. You guys all know Edward played the solo on Beat It. See, for me, like you're wearing a shirt saying, disco, sucks or whatever.
Die Before Disco.
For me, when my first albums were Michael Jackson's Thriller. So my introduction to Eddie Van Halen was Beat It. Was that solo? I heard that. I'm like, wow, this is great. But unfortunately,
Nilly plays that all the time.
Sure, yeah.
She's in Vegas, dresses up in this gold costume, and they play Beat It. She does the solo for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're No Good. That's right. You're No Good. That's the song. Oh, you guys are all getting it. Look at this. Even Janice has it. Right on. There you go.
And a lot of people don't know Boz Scaggs was Steve Miller's lead guitar player and backup singer in the Steve Miller Band in the late 60s, early 70s.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. But I didn't know that. I had no idea. Let's see. Okay, let's do another What? Put your bananas in a garden and just watch? What? Do I want to click on this? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, well let's go to. We've got a few different news items to talk about, and then don't forget we do giveaways. We're giving away new old stock Van Halen vinyl.
Wait, here's the big question: do you have the center adapter so they'll be able to play that?
I might be able to find one, but I would think most people, anybody that wins, well, Peggy, do you have a turntable?
Or Sean?
If either of you guys have a turntable, you get to play that. Anyway, Van Halen's "Oh Pretty Woman," backed with "Dancing in the Street." This is new old stock. This is brand new, but not. I bought this in 1990. Never played it. Never played it. It's brand new. What's up? Keith H. Hang on. I got to prove to you guys. Did I talk about this? I don't even know if I did. Super Chats changed the color of these lights back here. And so Keith H just dropped what's called a Super Chat. And you will see these lights change. See, I'm not doing anything. It's not me. See?
Stand on your hands.
Actually, I was sitting on the couch. I was on TikTok earlier, and my wrist went to sleep. So I was like, oh, no. Okay, anyway, that should change at some point. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you, Ned. Ned's back there chewing through the wires.
A little slow on that one, Ned.
He's actually asleep. He actually came in earlier. He's passed out. Okay, so anyway, that's called a Super Chat, and what Keith H did right here is any donations, any support for this channel and these shows, that's one way you can do that. And here, yeah, I've got a little video that I play right there. Super Chats, they change the color of the lights. You guys just saw it in real time. It's a way you can help support the channel and get your name highlighted right there. So shout out Keith H. Anyway, Keith is saying over the freeway, first right, Johnny, is GTA boss. You were saying that last night. I was playing Grand Theft Auto last night for a little bit, and you were trying to tell me, wait, is that you? That is you, right? Well, it must be. You're saying that. He was like, Johnny, there's like a part in GTA where you need to get to, and I tried finding it on the stream last night. You guys can watch it on Twitch, and I couldn't find it. Right? Anyway, that's what that means. And if you guys are wondering what that even means, we play video games live on Twitch pretty much every night. So come on over to Twitch, hang out with us. We have a great time. We talk music, you know?
Yeah, we do. Do you have that clip from Call of Duty the other day? The last one?
If I clipped it, I'd have to find it.
They don't go by dates? It's been 2 days ago, I think.
They maybe, if I can remember. Janice, can you tag us on X? See if we can remember. Let's get to another news item here, and then we'll look for that. Wait a minute, I'm looking at the comments. I have a turntable, but I'll never win. As Johnny will never pay the postage. Where do you live? Mars?
There is a Mars, Michigan. Am I right, Raymond?
Well, you knew about the pizza in my hometown. You knew about that. Can you imagine Johnny at the post office passing out at the car?
Peggy, here's what I had.
I can't even tell what's going on there. I'm just glad you didn't
homemade
do a
sauce,
close up of that.
Homemade sauce and shells and stuffed shells.
Oh, cool. Huh? That's a fortune. If you win. Speaking of post office, we're talking 70s entertainers. Did you guys see the video? It might have been a viral video of Henry Winkler leaving a post office, and they call it is it shoulder checking? Do you know what that is?
No.
There's a video of, Henry Winkler, the Fonz.
Yeah. Hey.
He was at a post office. This is just like, I don't know, I'm assuming last week. He goes to leave a post office, and there's like these guys standing around. I guess paparazzi is what you call them. They got their faces covered up. They're basically holding like selfie things, and they're filming. They're filming the Fonz as he comes walking out of this post office. This guy, he accidentally walks in front of him and sees the guys filming, and he kind of gets disoriented, and he turns around, and he kind of slams into the Fonz. And the Fonz is Henry Winkler's like, he's like, hey, I'm trying to get out of here. He's like, this is unbelievable. Like, he's telling the Fonz starts telling the paparazzi, this is unbelievable. This guy just shoulder checked me. Right? Is that the term? I'd never heard of that term, but apparently if you like bump into somebody with your shoulder, that's what this guy did. But I think he accidentally did it. I don't think he meant to do it. He just saw the guys holding all the phones. And one of the quotes, or one of the funniest thing is one of the paparazzi guys says to this guy is he's like you just shoulder checked the most famous person in the post office right now. That's kind of a weird sentence. Skyprop, you saw that? I think it was on TMZ. I think TMZ had it. I saw it on TikTok. It's kind of weird.
Good thing he wasn't younger. He'd have knocked him out.
I don't know. No, I think that was all. That's just a character. That doesn't seem like that's him at all. When Henry Winkler, who's in all these other movies from in like the 90s, total different character than that.
But he was in a 50s gang movie with Sylvester Stallone in the 70s. Where he basically looked just like he did as Fonzie.
Mm-hmm. He was like a tough guy?
Yeah. Ducktail hair, black
Never
leather
seen
jacket.
that.
I forget the name of the movie. Him and Sylvester Stallone were in it.
Never seen it. We'll have to check that out. Okay, let's do another news story here. I don't know what they're talking about bananas here. Put bananas in your garden and just watch. I don't know what that means.
Don't click on it.
I'm not. It says to click here. We're at Guitar World magazine though, so let's check on this. Okay, people focus on the guitar playing, but it's not about the flashy stuff. Wolfgang Van Halen explains how Eddie's game-changing talents kind of ruined the '80s guitar scene. This is published Phil Weller over at Guitar World. Okay, so the mammoth WVH frontman reflects on the guitar playing trap that emerged as a result of his father's groundbreaking style and names one player who managed to avoid it. In the chat, can anybody figure out who that one player is from the 80s?
Ooh.
Besides you? Can anybody figure that out without Googling this? Or you can. I don't care.
Brian got Lords of Flatbush is the name of the album.
Which
name
album?
The name of the movie, I'm sorry. With Henry Winkler and Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, huh. There's this Sylvester Stallone movie. I was every time it was on, I would watch it. Him and Billy D. Williams. You know that one? They play cops. They're like in New York or something.
Is that called Cop Out?
I don't know. You guys know the movie I'm talking about? Stallone and Billy D. Williams. It's a pretty good movie. It's like late 70s or early 80s. Something like that. Oh no, hang on. I got to plug this laptop in. All right, hopefully this doesn't crash. All right. Wolfgang Van Halen. I don't know what's going on down there. They're cooking something. Wolfgang Van Halen has proposed a theory about the impact his father's revolutionary electric guitar playing had on the 80s music scene. There will always be a surge of those who follow in the wake of trailblazing guitarists and attempt to follow in the footsteps of their heroes. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you see it every day, on Instagram and, To that end, Wolfgang really recently discussed how Eddie's game-changing shred acrobatics diluted the originality, some big words in this article, of other guitarists as countless players did their best Eruption impressions. In a way, Dad kind of ruined the musical landscape because instead of everybody wanting to find out who they are, they wanted to be that, he says in a new episode of WTF with Marc Maron podcast. So, here, let's just skip past whatever they're doing there. Oh, we talk about that banana thing. Okay. I think. I'm trying to... We don't want any of these videos played in here. Wolfgang goes on to observe that those 80s guitarists who attempted to do their best Van Halen impressions missed the one thing that was the most important about his father's playing. And that wasn't his dazzling technicality. People focus on the guitar playing, but overall, it was the fact that Dad is a great songwriter. And that's really that's the whole point. That's why Van Halen, why a lot of those bands in the 80s, once the 90s rolled along and grunge hit, a lot of those bands, vanished. And yeah, some of them did reform, or maybe they still put stuff out, but they weren't mainstream anymore. And then maybe into the 2000s, like a lot of them, they tour now, and they're out there now playing some of the older songs, maybe some newer stuff. But that's one of the things why Van Halen continued into the 90s, and even with Sammy Hagar, which again, a lot of David Lee Roth era hardcore fans will be like, no, well, you just said Drop Dead Legs is your favorite song. By 1984, they call that the classic six-pack. Van Halen 2, Women, Children First, Fair Warning, Diver Down, 84. That's a lot of, probably you. You probably call it that. And then when 5150 came along, you were gone. You were on to something. Well, there you go. On to something else. See, that's where I came in. 5150 was my introduction to the band.
But didn't you say seeing the Donington Castle film, you understood why we felt like we did with Dave?
Oh, I totally get it. Yeah. I totally understand. If it was the opposite, who knows? Although I don't think so. I don't think so because I listen to a lot of different music. I listen to a lot of different stuff as a musician myself. I listen to stuff you guys wouldn't even be like, what are you listening to that for? Because it's inspiring. And that's something Edward always said was he gets inspired by stuff. He would say he doesn't listen to music. He would say the last album he bought was like decades ago, But then a lot of times there would be an interview, like let's say in the 90s somewhere, and the interviewer, how they would write up, before the actual interview, they'd write up, oh, Eddie just pulled up in his car. He got out, shook my hand. I remember there was one interview. I forget which one it is. But Eddie rolls up, and the interviewer says that Eddie was blasting Tori Amos on the radio or the CD or whatever. Like that's what he was listening to. Something totally not Van Halen at all. So, long story short, I think with this article and with what I'm saying is if you're a serious musician, listen to as much music as you can. Don't get tied into one thing because truthfully, and I'm speaking for myself. We can talk about this in a second. I truthfully, I mean, for me, the late 80s, all of the 90s was about Van Halen for me. Up until the late 90s. That's when I discovered Andy Summers. And I told Andy this. I'm like, I wanted to be Eddie Van Halen. And Andy was like, yeah, me too. Do you remember that? Did you see that part? And he's like, yeah, I wanted to be Eddie Van Halen too. I mean, everybody did. And that's the whole point of this article here. But those that take that inspiration and do their own thing with it, don't just try to copy one person. You know, that's... So for me as a musician, truthfully, I wish I wasn't into Van Halen as much as I was. See, now I'm not. Now I'm into a lot of different stuff. When I pick up a guitar, the last thing I think is Van Halen, unless it's a Van Halen guitar. Like you saw me yesterday playing a Van Halen Wolfgang. So of course I'm doing all this stuff. But if I was to pick up a guitar that was not a Van Halen guitar, I wouldn't play Van Halen stuff on that at all. You know, I'm at the point now where I mean, that's just how it is. That's right, Chris King. Do your own thing. That's right.
Chris. Dan.
That's right. So anyway, yeah, let's talk actually, before we get back to that, let's talk about that for a second. So
I don't always just listen to metal. I mean, you've seen it. I got Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra.
Mm-hmm.
I got a whole, I couldn't even tell you how many CDs of classical music.
Okay. But you're talking today, now. Let's go back
then.
Let's go back to when you first picked up an instrument.
I was 5 years old. Not quite 5, so it was 1969, 1970.
Well, that's... Not everybody picks up a guitar at 5. But let's say when you were first getting into bands, or was your first band at 6?
My very first band was called Ace 2 because we heard there was a band called Ace already.
Uh-huh. Ace of Base?
Well, no, Ace of Kiss.
Well,
Matter
there you
of fact, I still have an 8-track of us playing.
There,
We had
You
no
were able to-
singer. We just played all Kiss songs, but no singing.
That's what the guy, the guitar player in, was it Pearl Jam? Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
Was it Pearl Jam? They were on like Howard Stern or something, and the one of the guitar players, was that right, Janice? Anyway, it was some major band. They were saying when they were younger, they started a tribute band, or they decided to start a Kiss band and be called Kiss as well. And they were in the makeup. They were totally ripping off the band, just not realizing what they were doing. And I think the real band, like they had met the actual band at one point, and they told them this, and then later on, the band actually sent them a letter telling them to stop. Something like that. Did any of you guys hear that? That story?
Yeah, it was 1975 and disco was raging and I was buying Kiss. Then I'd go to the store and get the Kiss songbook, Big Note Easy Guitar songbook.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat and learned them all, and then we played a bunch of like birthday parties for all the kids our age. We were like the house party band, but we had people come up and sing that jumped up and sing. We actually had no singer. It was me and a guy by the name of Eric. We were on guitars. We had a drummer and a bass player / keyboardist, so we could do Beth.
Mm-hmm. Did he breathe fire too?
No.
You guys weren't allowed to do that.
I tried that. With lighter fluid. It didn't quite work.
Mm-hmm.
I caught my shirt on fire.
So it was Mike McCready. Okay, thank you, Scott. Yeah, so it was Pearl Jam. Yeah. That was a funny story. You know, he said he had met like Gene Simmons when he was a kid, and he told them what they were doing, and they got a letter, like a cease and desist letter, saying to stop, because they were calling themselves Kiss. That was like, you know, probably really before like tribute bands, you know. So wait a minute. So okay, so you started playing at 6, and then you were doing like a Kiss band at probably
9, 10.
10
9,
years
10,
old.
yeah.
So once you got more serious,
My first band, I was 9 years old.
There you go. But once you got more serious, like you were in that band where you guys were like, you had like all these, you were taking like 10 guitars and you had all these lights and all this stuff.
That was in the 80s.
That was in the 80s.
That was after Randy, after I saw Randy, heard Randy.
So by that point, I guess what I'm trying to get at is when you were playing the guitar, did you try to do everything in the style of somebody else? Or by that, well, maybe since you started at 6, maybe your era of just like copying people was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So you probably outgrew all that.
Yeah. By the time I was 14 or 15.
So by the time most people are trying to be whoever that is, you had outgrown that.
Yeah.
So by the time you were playing, you know, all these shows, maybe you were already doing like your own thing, I guess.
Yeah. I was already writing, doing stuff like that on my own
stuff. Okay. So then by that point, well, you know, since you played so early, let's get your take on this. So when Eddie Van Halen came out, I would assume everybody else around you that played dropped everything, took the makeup off, and started doing this.
Tried to do that. Yeah.
Tried to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And what did you think of that at the time?
I didn't try to copy Eddie. I didn't try to do that. I never did. Because it was so different from, you know, again, you know, I grew up listening to Elvis, the Monkees, the Beatles,
the Chipmunks.
No, Dolly Parton, Hank Jr. and then I got into Kiss, Boston, Rush, Angel, then Van Halen, and that was just so different from everything else. I've never tried to play like Eddie. Never. Ever. In 59, so 55 years of playing, I've never tried to play like Eddie. And I really didn't try to play like Randy either. But I did like the classical influence. And so I did adopt some of the classical chords and phrasing into some of my music, but again, not copying Randy.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday, you know, on Mondays, I drive, you know, a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to Blizzard of Oz.
Oh, the whole album?
The whole album, yeah. I
go.
listened to the entire thing, and I was kind of surprised. Couple of those tunes, they came on, and the thing is, you know, when you listen on YouTube, as you guys will know, watching, you see a lot of commercials.
Yeah, about 30 of them so far.
A lot of commercials come on. So as I'm driving, I'm listening, and you know, an ad would come up, and then a piece of music would start playing, and I would think, oh, that's just another ad. No, that's the actual song. So there was a couple pieces in that, maybe one or two, where it didn't sound like that era, like it sounded like something else, different. And then got into the song. It's like, oh, this is Ozzy. Okay. So if you guys are wondering,
a lot of that was Bob influenced. With Bob and Randy together, came up with those two albums. So
yeah. Saturday we dropped a video, an exclusive interview with Bob Daisley. You guys know, major part of the Ozzy Osbourne.
You're right.
Well, the early era.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check out that video.
I mean, think about that. How many guys can you say, gee, I got to work with Ronnie James Dio. I got to work with Richie Blackmore. I got to work with Gary Moore. I got to work with Randy Rhoads. I got to work with Jakey Lee, Ozzy, Tony Iommi, Cozy Powell. You know, the list is endless for him.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, G. Thank you so much. Yeah. We had a great time talking to him. It was awesome. Anyway, yeah, so I listened to that album yesterday. But
that's the first time you listened to it in how long, or at all? The whole album?
I had heard the title track.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard that before because you told me about it. And actually, I do remember when I was a kid, I remember I had a friend who had that album. So I had heard it like around the time it was new-ish, you know, or maybe a couple years later.
Yeah, it was
so I had heard some of it. Okay, well this is a few years. I heard some of it.
So it wasn't like Van Halen 3 for me. I heard it for the first time this year. So it was all new to me.
Actually, well, most of this was new to me. Yeah. Most of it was new, yeah. Yeah, so... But anyway, so getting back to the article here. Basically, what Wolfgang is saying is there was a lot of guitar players who just tried to copy his dad, and that's where everything just kind of stopped for them. But anyway, yes.
Per that statement, people trying to who's the first person you think of
as a player that tries to cop?
Yeah,
somebody
sound like Eddie.
Somebody that put out commercial music in the 80s?
Yes.
I would say White Lion.
Yep, Vito. Yep.
Vito Bratta.
Yep.
I would say I mean the thing is they had some songs though. So they had a couple hits. And again, they had what was the big When the Children Cry.
Mm-hmm.
Huge song, acoustic song too, I think. So maybe there's not much, you know, the Van Halen influence really isn't on that. Or maybe on the solo, maybe, I don't know. But I do remember towards like the hair metal later part of the 80s, there was some guitar stuff where I was like, that sounds a lot like Van Halen.
Well, you was telling me about that one band I'd never heard of before. Who was that? There
was this band in the late 80s called Roxy Blue.
That's it.
And they had a song called Rob the Cradle. We watched the video after that we did that show. I was telling you about that. And I always thought since 1992, that's when they really hit. And of course, you know, by then grunge hit and everything, and it was all over. But I remember when they put that out, I remember thinking, man, they just kind of sound too much like Van Halen. Even the guys running around making the faces.
A lot like Van Halen.
It's like, yeah, you know. And if you're like a major fan, like I said, I was a major Van Halen fan then. Like that's all for me. Van Halen was everything at that point. So if I was to see another band kind of doing that trip, it's kind of like, nah, I got the real thing. I don't need that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I look at tributes. You know, it's like I can listen to the real thing. I really don't, you know, need to watch that. It depends. It depends on the situation. But anyway, even like after we talked about them, I went back and I listened to some of their other songs and I watched like some interviews with them, that band Roxy Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched because they had a documentary style video. See, a lot of bands in the late 80s, there was these things called VHS players.
Home videos.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that brings up another story we were going to talk about. Anyway, so the late 80s, you could get a VHS of like your favorite band, and it was like a documentary, or it's like concert footage, interviews. There was one with that band, Roxy Blue, and I watched it, and they walked around. Yeah, they walked around, I think, I think they're from like Nashville or something. And they're like one of the major bands in town at that point, and they're playing like the major club and all this stuff. And watching that, it made me appreciate them more, seeing that. You know, it wasn't like, they're just trying to rip off Van Halen. No, it wasn't just that. So it kind of changed my view on them, I guess. But getting back to this article, though, is, you know, Wolfgang saying, you know, everybody in the 80s, you know, he's saying his dad ruined the 80s, you know, the era of being original, because once Eddie Van Halen came out, almost every guitar player, at least in that genre.
I could think of another one, though,
didn't
try to copy Eddie, would be George Lynch.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was already doing his own thing, though.
Well,
right? He was already out there.
At the same time.
See, if you start at the same time, that's kind of different.
But he didn't make it famous till the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I mean, you had, I think they were 3 years. There was George, Eddie, and Randy. They were all 1 year apart from each other. I think George was the oldest. Then Eddie, then Randy. Because Eddie was 55, right? 1955.
Born?
Yeah.
55,
Yeah, Randy was 56, and I think George was 54.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We're looking at your comments. Is it Ogre Lord? Ogre Lord.
Ogre Lord. Ogre. Revenge of the Nerds, Ogre. Who he just turned 70 or 71, by the way.
Wow. He says, I disagree. There was a lot of originality in the 80s. EVH influenced a lot, but Vi... Hang on, we have a video call. We always got to do this. Mostly because it kills time.
Johnny.
Huh?
Hey, Johnny. I'm over here.
Where? Where are
over
you?
here. Over here, Johnny. Hey, Johnny. How you doing? This is Steve.
Steve Vai? Okay, I'll give you that. Steve Vai was, even though he was, you know, Van Halen, you know, he could play the Van Halen. He even, you know, replaced Van Halen, really, you know, with David Lee Roth. He's one of the guys, he did all the same stuff, but at the same time, very original. Still to this day, you can hear Vai and be like, oh, that's Steve Vai. Like, you can tell.
Yeah.
When it's those players where you can hear them and know exactly who it is, that's when you know it's good. So anyway, so you're saying you disagree. There was a lot of originality in the 80s. EVH influenced a lot, but Vai, Malmsteen, Satriani.
All four of those guys started their stuff in the 70s.
Well, that's the thing too. So all those guys, they were doing different things, and then when the 80s hit, they were all mainstream in the 80s. That's kind of a different thing. But
I remember seeing Yngwie on the Day of the Green in 1983 out there in California.
Mm-hmm.
I was
the
like,
stadium.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is this? I mean,
so you were here?
No. It was on. I saw it on a recording of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was on MTV actually on a Saturday night.
That's cool. Yeah. So Steve Vai, totally original. Malmsteen. I mean, I'll admit, I've never really heard him, but I know who he is. I know he was a major influence on a lot of players that went the direction that he did.
The classical influence.
It's like you kind of had to be into that, I guess. If you weren't into that, it just sounded. Even Eddie himself. It was Guitar World magazine. It was the same interview where he talks about Satriani, and he says that Satriani has a little bit of Van Halen in him, and that's my argument that Satriani is perfect for doing this tour right now, because even Van Halen himself said Satriani has some Van Halen, you know, in his style, in his groove, whatever he does. So, but they play Edward some Malmsteen, And Eddie's quote, it's in a magazine. It's right back there. But he actually said that it sounds too old. It sounds too classical, too old sounding, is what he said when he heard Malmsteen. So, and then he didn't comment on George Lynch, although Lynch did open for Van Halen, Monsters of Rock. So there's that connection.
Well, Malmsteen was also part of the reason for Jason Becker.
Oh yeah, I've got a video.
Built from it. All right, Johnny Bean hanging out with Big Pimp Jason Becker. Hello, Jason. This is
This is going on Facebook.
With your
All right.
permission. He's
Damn.
like, yeah, right. You got
Jason's
all-
so goddamn handsome. Look at him. All right, all right. And there's Mike pimping Barney over here, and then Dan, just goddamn it, sexy. Too fucking sexy. And of course me. You
Didn't
guys.
you go to Costa Rica?
I think he did go to Costa Rica.
I mean, you heard the story that a guy who Jason's dad worked with, he was talking about how Jason was playing guitar, and he's like, oh, but can he play this? And he recorded Yngwie's stuff, but like sped it up and recorded it and gave it to Jason's dad, and then Jason learned it at that speed, the increased speed. Yeah. So you could say Yngwie had a big part in Jason too.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, Jason Becker, Steve Vai, Malmsteen, Satriani Lynch. There's only a handful of names, and those are most of them. I think the ones that came out of the '80s.
You got to throw Randy in there too, even though he was only here for the first 2 years of the '80s.
Oh yeah, Randy Rhoads. Yeah. So outside of those, I mean, there's some other names, but if we're really talking,
But I'd say Vito was the one that copied him the most.
Well, again, that Vito being, getting success,
Yeah.
releasing an album, because there's probably, well, not millions, but thousands and thousands of other guitar players out there, all just doing that trip. What guys you never heard of, Well, still to this day, Although with the internet, everything's out there now. You can do anything, and it's all good. But definitely White Lion, Vito Bratta. They had some hits, so they were out. Their albums are out there. You guys can hear them. I think even was it the vocalist Mike Tramp?
Yeah.
Did we talk about this? He put out a post saying he's available to play like living rooms.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Did you see
bring
this?
that, yeah.
But it's not like he's just doing that. Like he's out there touring anyway. And if he has a day off, if he's in your area and you want to book him to come and play your bedroom or I don't know, whatever that is,
The same thing Tony Bennett did.
he can do that. He did that?
Yeah, you could hire Tony Bennett to come sing at your house.
Man, I saw him. He walked right past me. This was in San Francisco. He walked right in front of me. I should have got a channel ID. Damn it.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
this
he
is
left
in the
his heart in
90s.
San Francisco.
This was in the 90s. I know.
Should have had him write it down. This is Tony Bennett, and you're watching Johnny Bean something.
Yeah. When they invent the internet, I'll have to say this. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, we got some comments here. Let's read some comments. We'll go back to this story here because we want to continue that. We've got a few other stories. I think we're going to do a couple hours tonight, maybe more.
Would you say Nuno?
This
Although
guy?
if you ever ask him, you know who actually taught him how to play? his brother, his older brother. Mm-hmm. Then he showed a video of his older brother playing, and it's like he's out Nuno, he's out Nunoing Nuno himself.
Uh-huh.
He's like freaking amazing.
No, I didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah, he's definitely, well, both those guys are definitely major guitarists. Okay, wait a minute. Ricky says, I listened to a band, Chaser, and they always sounded like Van Halen.
Never heard of them.
I thought it was Tommy because he did those tours, but not studio work. Okay, wait a minute. Is it Ogrelord? Ogrel? OG. In all honesty, all guitarists that finger tapped could be accused of copying him. Well, I mean, that's where they got the idea from.
But didn't Eddie say somebody he watched in the 60s or something did that? Not to the extent he did, but
in that's actually interesting. Because if you listen to early Van Halen like high school performances, there's none of this. But that's into the 70s. That's like 75, 76. You don't hear any of that. But Eddie says he got the idea for this from Led Zeppelin. He said he saw Led Zeppelin. He saw Jimmy Page holding a guitar, trilling, doing this. And then not so much doing this, but he got the idea just from, it's called trilling, I guess, from doing that and just moving it around the neck. And then it just became, oh, you can use this finger too. And that's where he got the idea to do that. But then this guy, though, right here, was also doing a similar thing. And I think they both came up with the idea around the same time, this guy. Hey, this is Billy Sheehan. You're watching Johnny Bean TV.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Hola, amigos. This is your bass player, Billy Sheehan. You're watching me right here on my dear friend, John. It went away.
Oh, no.
Johnny Bean. We do radio IDs all the time, but if it's not written down, even if the guy is standing right there, it's a weird mental problem.
You said we're dear friends,
Johnny
but then you couldn't remember my name.
Dear friend, what's it?
Who is that?
No, it's a weird thing. Whenever we do radio IDs or TV things, if it's not written down, you're lost. It's hilarious. But Johnny Bean, come on, here we go. Let's do take two. I'll get it this time, I swear to God.
All right. Ready.
All right. Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan, your bass player, here with my dear friend, Johnny Bean. I never forget this guy. He's been so wonderful for me. Let me do take three, sorry.
Thank you, Billy.
I overdid it now. Here we go. Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan, your bass player, saying hello to you from the fabulous Johnny Bean Show. And thank you for having me on, Johnny. And I hope I see you all around. New Talus is out. New Winery Dog's coming. Gracias.
Billy Sheehan. So Billy Sheehan was doing all this stuff too. I think they both got the idea around the same time. At least that's what I've read. Or maybe we talked about it on that video. I don't know. Billy Sheehan's been on the channel twice. There's actually 2 interviews with him. And maybe at some point he talked about that. But what were we saying? So anyway, as far as the tapping, that really was a part of Eddie's style. It's just a way he played. It wasn't like a trick. It wasn't like, oh, but now watch this. Although it kind of becomes that. You know, when there's a camera in front of you, it's like, oh, you know, you kind of play to the camera. But for Van Halen, that wasn't like oh, now I'm going to do this.
Yeah, it was
just normal. That's the way he played. You know? And then it evolved into like a piano type of thing, which he did later on. There's a song called Judgment Day where that was actually a part of the solo. So, but then in the 80s, you know, once Van Halen hit and you know, you hear Eruption, and you know, a lot of people thought it was a keyboard when you first heard it. Before people saw him doing it, they thought it was a keyboard or something. They didn't know it was guitar. So a lot of the guitar players that were influenced by him, that's like, oh, now I'm doing that. And then there's all this. But the one thing that Eddie had on top of pretty much everybody else was the songwriting. That was the key ingredient. That's what Wolfgang is saying right here. That's what everybody missed out on. Was the songwriting. Let's see. And he continues, for Wolfgang's own music, he was wary of adding to an oversaturated scene of Eddie light licks. Instead, he focused not on what came before him, but rather explored his musical personality to find his own sound, something he feels others should have done. And that's the truth is, if you want to, just be yourself. Whatever that is, in music, in anything. Whatever that is, any type of whatever. The ones that really succeed and come out, the other side, those are the ones that took the chances, did their own thing, no matter what people said, whatever. It's the ones that just copy and try to be other people. Those are the ones that it rarely lasts, or turns into something else. It depends. But since we're talking guitar players, who was bigger than Eddie Van Halen in as far as this genre of guitar, of music and hard rock in the 80s? Who was bigger? Who totally changed the guitar since Hendrix? And on top of that, who had the songwriting skills? There's very, very few. Jed says nobody.
I was around for the Hendrix era, but I don't know. I just never got into Jimmy's style. I don't know why.
You were alive then?
Yeah.
Wait, were you playing guitar then?
Yeah, he died in 71, 72?
70.
Was it 70 or 71?
I think it was 7. Janis.
He was 27 years old, along with Jim Morrison and Janis Joplin. Did you know he was actually a 101st Airborne Army Ranger?
No. Okay, yeah. Skyprop says 70.
Okay.
Yeah. Ricky says 70. Who has the blues in them like EVH? In the 80s, not many. Not many. There was such a lineup of just clones. People, guitar players, where Edward was a major influence, where you noticed, you could tell. But again, the one key ingredient that pretty much none of them had was the songwriting. And really, truthfully, that's definitely why Van Halen survived. And then when Sammy joined, when Roth left, everybody thinking, oh, David Lee Roth's gone. Forget it. He was Van Halen. Forget it. They get, another singer. That's when, Eddie was writing those songs. Why can't this be love? You know when Van Halen first played that for the record execs? You know what they said? When the head of Warner Brothers went to 5150 when Van Halen was working up the album 5150, they played them "Why Can't This Be Love?" and the head of Warner Brothers said, "I smell money." That's what he said. I mean, even you were saying that when you heard that summer, you're like, "Oh, I can't get away from this song."
Yeah, I know.
And you still can't because you got to talk about it on Tuesdays.
Damn sound guys.
Oh, you ate one Tuesdays, you guys. No, but see, and the only guitar in that, I mean, yeah, there's chords. There's a guitar solo there. You know, it's almost like I don't know, but I mean, it's a keyboard song. But what I'm trying to get at is the songwriting. A lot of clones, they don't have the songwriting skills. You know, you can copy the notes, you can copy the licks, but write something original. Thing is, if you copy something too much, like if you're overly influenced by something and you try to write something original, that just comes out as just like a scuffed version of what that is you're copying.
Now, if you want to say the 80s guitarist who had the, and we're talking hair band type metal music, who had blues influence, would have to be Tom Kiefer, Cinderella. Mm-hmm. Fantastic songwriter, singer, and guitar player. Mm-hmm. Very, very blues influenced. I mean, if you look at their album "Long Cold Winter," that the whole thing's like a blues album.
Yeah, I remember that. I might have had that actually. I remember the videos. You know. Yeah. No, but okay. So anyway, wait. Back to this article. Hang on. Isn't there more of this, or is it over? Oh yeah, there is more. Here we go. One of the main ways Wolfgang achieved this was by playing all the instruments on his Mammoth WVH records. You guys know Wolfgang played all the instruments on his albums. He's made 2 albums so far, and now he's on to his third. Which is he going to play everything on that one? We have yet to see. You know, maybe his band will be featured on his album. Actually, we have one of his other guitar players. We have an ID from him, John, if I can find that. This guy right here.
Hey, you're watching Johnny Bean TV, and this is John from Mammoth.
There we go, John from Mammoth. So, let's see. Wolfgang continues here. I think people were sitting there waiting for me to outdo my dad in some way. But that's impossible. I'm not him. I'm doing my own thing. And if anything, I'm outdoing him in that way. I'm a better drummer than him. And no one says that. I mean, the thing is, Wolfgang, he's an all-around great musician. He started on drums, played bass with Van Halen. He's playing guitar. Well, he's actually one of 3 guitar players in his band. His band has 3 different guitar players. But the thing is, Wolfgang, he's writing all his own music. And it's like he wants nothing to do with Van Halen music. You know, that's the thing. A lot of people, a lot of these fans, they don't realize is to him, Eddie Van Halen was his dad. He wasn't Eddie Van Halen to him. That was just his dad. And then when he discovered what his dad was doing, He couldn't believe it. Actually, Eddie told, there's these two DJs in Iowa that they got a hold of Eddie's number and they used to call him. And Eddie's telling them, because they're asking Eddie, so is Wolfgang gonna play music? And Eddie starts telling them a story about how he ordered a bunch of their albums to be. He wanted a box of the albums to give to his son, you know. And Wolfgang goes through them and he's like, "Wow, this is all your stuff." And again, he's a kid. He's just a little kid at the time. And like Wolfgang didn't, like, he knew his dad was a musician, but he didn't know he was Eddie Van Halen. I mean, the Eddie Van Halen that we know of, you know. And so that's what a lot of the Van Halen 5150s out there. Because, dude, I run a pretty large Van Halen group on Facebook. There's a lot of weirdos in there, you know. Every day, Roth versus Hagar. Every day, it's the same thing every day. But what a lot of people don't realize is to Wolfgang, Eddie was his dad. He wasn't the Eddie Van Halen that we know of. So of course, you know, he's influenced by music. You know, he listened to a lot of different stuff when he was growing up. The last thing he wants to do is to be, you know, some who's Bocephus, yeah. You know, I mean, but he did his own thing too, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
eventually, when he first started, his mom had him wearing the same suits as his dad, singing his dad's music,
doing the same thing,
yeah.
like. But then you've got Frank Sinatra. There's Frank Sinatra Jr. He was doing the same type of thing, you know. I mean, I guess it depends, you know. It's whatever, but I mean, that's a tough thing. I mean, the thing is, Wolfgang, I mean, he pretty much grew up, I mean, you know, the internet. And just imagine, you go online and you got all these fans of your dad's band, and you know, they hear that you play music or that you're going to play music. And he got a lot, still does. He gets a lot of hate online by a lot of these people who have just
that I don't understand.
No idea what they're talking about, man.
I don't understand that at all.
I mean, just imagine that pressure. Imagine the pressure of having, let's say one of your parents is, you know, what we consider the greatest, you know, the greatest guitar player. Well, for me, I know for you, I think Randy Rhoads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, for me, Eddie Van Halen's the greatest. I mean, yeah, I'm into other stuff and I listen to a lot of different things, whatever. But as you know, in 100 years, you know, when the robots have taken, when AI has totally taken over.
100 years, try 3.
Well, try 100 days. Try it about 100 minutes. Actually, somebody was it in on Facebook, one of the Van Halen groups. Somebody was saying this was a post. I forget where I saw it. It might have been in my group. I don't know. So, and then we'll get back to this. Somebody was saying, "Oh, well, just imagine if they dug through the Van Halen vaults and if they, you know, a lot of the stuff's not finished. What if they used AI to finish the stuff? You know, it'd be like brand new records." The comment section's all no. I chimed in, okay. And see, this is proof. I listen to a lot of different music. A lot of you guys hate this, but I chimed in saying, well, actually, Katy Perry has a brand new record coming out. Okay. She released a sample of a new song. It's called Woman's World. She released a sample of that before the actual song came out. Somebody took AI and they fed that into it. And the video says, here's the whole song. If you listen to that, you hear the sample and you listen to what it goes into. It's nothing what the song actually turned into. So if they did do that with Van Halen music, it would not be what you guys are wanting it to be. You know. So, but anyway, getting back to Wolfgang doing his own music, he's doing exactly what I mean. I'm proud as a Van Halen fan. Wolfgang, if you happen to see this, I'm proud that he's doing his own thing. Yeah, once in a while he'll get up on stage with the Foo Fighters and do some, Hot for Teacher or whatever. But
I just don't understand why they hate on him. That just blows my mind.
Because Van Halen fans are crazy.
But I mean, how can you? It's not his fault he was born and his dad was Eddie.
No.
So how can you hate him for that?
Not at all.
I don't understand that at all.
Van Halen fans.
If someone was to ask you right now your style, who are you most like?
If I was to name a name, well, I mean, like I said, I listen to a lot of different stuff. I actually listen to more like synth type stuff. I think Janice will like this. I actually listen to a lot more synthesizer type stuff than guitar. I really don't listen to a lot of guitar music. I really don't. Like I said, Van Halen always did. I got into Andy Summers. And I got into his jazz stuff, not Police. Okay? Which you probably never heard is jazz stuff.
No. I heard Sting's jazz stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I was into that, of course. But again, I'll say this again. For me personally, I wanted to be Eddie Van Halen when I was a kid. That was it. It was unhealthy. It wasn't good. I got into some other albums, and I'll tell you guys what they are. I really got into this album called Jagged Little Pill. Do you know who did that? You've heard the songs. In the chat, who released Jagged Little Pill? I bought that album. That album totally changed things for me. And there actually is a Van Halen connection to that album. There we go. Yeah. Alanis Morissette. Ron's like, ew. No. Her album totally changed a lot of stuff for me. It got me away from doing all this stuff. It got me more into like acoustic guitar stuff. And actually, there is a Van Halen connection. The producer that worked on Jagged Little Pill would end up working with Van Halen later on. His name's Glenn Ballard. He did the 3 songs off the Best of All Worlds Greatest Hits. I think those were Glenn Ballard. I think Glenn helped. He helped out with those. So anyway, I got into that album. Great album. Got it. And her live drummer, Taylor Hawkins, actually, at the time. And then he would go on to Foo Fighters. So, and then you guys all know the story. I found this Andy Summers CD for 50 cents, bought it, knew who he was. Of course I knew of the Police. I mean, but I didn't have any of their records. Got into that, and then Andy came to town. He was on tour, played 3 nights, a place called Kimball's East in Emerville, California. I went to all 3 shows, met him before every show. That's how he knew me, because I would always see him and say hi to him. Anyway, got into his stuff. So you're asking like if I was to say guitar wise now, I'm more into Andy Summers because he had a much wider range of stuff. Like, I mean, you'll like this. You know, you say you play your guitar, 1 pickup, 1 volume, Floyd Rose.
Usually, but all the soloists end up with 2 pickups.
For me, that's the last thing I would want. And I know I've got them sitting here on the couch. We're actually giving these away. You just have to go subscribe. Okay. No, if if someone said to me, "Hey, you can only have," well, don't, she might be listening. You can only have one guitar. Oh my gosh. It would have as many pickups and knobs as you could imagine on it. That's why I love Strats. Because the Strat, you get so many different sounds. That's why I love that Vega Trim. I got to get that guitar going. And we were talking about maybe painting that guitar pink.
I got to use up the pink I got here because I don't want it anymore. So if you like that shell pink, I got some.
Yeah. Look at this, Michael Tagler. Where is he? Wait, J.R. Powell is essential for musicians to explore different styles. Dude, I wish you would have told me that when I was first starting out. Because it is not healthy to get into one type of thing. Well, if you want to be original, that's the thing. I mean, it's all good.
But you know, from everybody I listen to, we're telling you, Ace, Eddie, Randy, Lynch, you know, Yngwie, Jake.
Half of those guitar players you just mentioned played with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, well, but I always thought when I would come up with something and then listen to it, I thought, man, I kind of sound more like Tony Iommi than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But then in 1994 or 95, that was right after the band broke up and I had moved to Springfield, our drummer called me up and said, dude, have you listened to Balls to Picasso yet? And I'm like, what? He goes, it sounds like you freaking wrote that entire song, that entire album. He said, that sounds like you're playing. And I thought, what? Who the hell's bought? And it was Bruce Dickinson's solo album, Balls to Picasso. So I went and bought it. I was like, damn, that does sound like something I wrote the whole album. So I didn't even know who the guitar player was on there, but
that's actually pretty cool. That's actually a cool thing. And the thing is, like I just told you guys, I was influenced by Jagged Little Pill. You know, there was a lot of like singer-songwriters in the 90s. I got into their albums. Natalie Imbruglia is another one. You guys all know that song Torn, right? Mm-hmm. She didn't even write that. Somebody else wrote that. But anyway, I got into her album. A lot of different stuff. Not necessarily guitar type stuff. Just music, you know, music stuff. And it's funny because I actually just I found her CD in my car recently because, you know, I drive a lot. And the Natalie Imbruglia, her debut album, I was listening to that, and one of the songs, there was a guitar part, or there was a musical part on it, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that sounds like me. Like now. Like that sounds like something I would play now. Like you hear things. See, that's why soak up, take as much stuff as you can in, because you mix it up, you never know, you know, what comes out can be totally, you know, you know, if that makes sense. Like inspiration comes from so many different places, you know, not even just music, just sound, just whatever. I mean, that's, you know, all the greats, all the ones that are great, they get influenced by all different places, no matter, you know, if you write lyrics, you write lyrics about experiences, you know, you write, you know, and then you translate that to music and yeah, unfortunately, not, you know, 10 times out of 10, you know, a lot of the stuff, you know, it's not commercial. So, so you end up, you know, doing that and whatever. But again, now with the internet, it's a totally different world.
Sirius XM, they'll play anything.
Right. You know, I don't even have that, but I wish I did.
But yeah, when John, our drummer John, when he called me up, you know, it was a year later. He's like, dude, I got the album. And he said, and I had to look who recorded this. He says, because I swear to God, it was you. And I'm like, well, thank you. And I'm thinking, I hadn't heard it yet. I'm thinking, but if Bruce Dickinson sang it, got to be pretty good. So if anybody listens to Balls, the whole album, Balls to Picasso, someone who apparently I influenced recorded it.
Well, see, that's why you know, like you go to concerts and you see somebody, or you throw your demo tape on stage and they pick it up. Oh yeah, you know, I'll check this out. They never do. They can't legally. They can't legally. They throw it away, because if they listen to that, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, their new song came out. It sounds just like something you know. So
I did that at a Rat concert, and you know, I guess I didn't realize my own strength, and it flew off one of the cymbals and damn near hit Bobby Bolster in the head.
Somebody gave me Sammy Hagar's address one time. This was in the early 2000s. Somebody gave me his address, like his actual address, you know, and so I sent one of my tapes to it, and I get the tape returned to me with a letter, and it's from like somebody in his camp, and they're like, Johnny, thank you so much for sending this, but unfortunately Sammy cannot listen to your album. He can't listen to this, you know. And I was like, whoa, you know, that's pretty cool. I probably still have that somewhere. I'll show it to you guys at some point. But anyway, long story, even longer, because we're trying to kill another hour here. Be yourself, whatever it is. Get your influences. But I'm wearing a shirt that says influencer right here. And no, I didn't buy this. A friend of mine gave me this shirt.
You influenced them to give it to you?
I did. It actually goes about here on me. It's actually too short. No. But yeah, just be yourself, do whatever.
Michael,
just have a good time, you know?
Roy Z. Ramirez. Well, sounds just like me.
Thank you so much. You guys like this?
Chris King.
That's a letter to frame.
That's like number 40.
Oh man. I got to find that letter. I have it somewhere. Yeah, my tape was returned from Sammy Hagar's somebody that worked for him in his office. They sent it back to me, and there was a letter, and it said, unfortunately, he can't listen to your tape. But so okay, so let's finish. Hang on. Okay, let's finish this up, and then we'll get to the next one. Okay, so this is Wolfgang. I know it's been an hour and a half since we started this article here, but hey, Sean, what's going on, man? Okay, so anyway, Wolfgang is saying, and again, just we got a lot of people jumping in here that weren't here, 20 minutes ago. Wolfgang Van Halen is talking about how his dad basically, he's saying he ruined the 80s guitar landscape, I guess. A really core thing for me is that my dad always instilled is that a solo should be memorable, which is, that's something a lot of guitar players, they would copy the notes, whatever. But a guitar solo should be, Eddie always said a guitar solo is kind of a song within a song. I think most people probably agree with that.
I've had that argument with the guy, the best in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him it's not see how many notes you can get from here to here. How about feeling? And he's just like, oh no, I got to go faster. So
I've done solos or parts of solos where it's just one note.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one note, and it's feeling, really. But anyway, so Wolfgang is saying you can play a solo that's one note that can be way more impressive than a solo that's 2,000 notes. That's not really the speed at which you play. It's not really the speed at which you play. Anyway, so Wolfgang is saying he champions intervals maestro Aaron Marshall in his chat with Marc Maron. As for his singer as a guitar player approach, Wolfgang adds another noteworthy guitarist to the pile of OG shredders, Paul Gilbert, which, there we go. That has to be one of the greatest selfies ever, I think. For them. Okay. Anyway, so Wolfgang is saying Paul Gilbert, you guys all know Paul Gilbert, Mr. Big. He's one of the shredder guys from the 80s. That was one of those guys that came a little bit after Dad, meaning Eddie Van Halen, but I think took it in an interesting direction. So I think that's the one guy the article's referring to as all the 80s shredders that were like Van Halen guys. Paul Gilbert. Well, I mean, look, he's still out there now. You know?
Yeah.
He's out there touring. Although I think Mr. Big, I think they're on their last tour. I think they're retiring. Actually, the other day, I've seen this twice. I've seen two different ones on TikTok. Somebody was like, Paul Gilbert does a guitar solo live. Like this is not like now. There's a really cool part where he plays the theme to Rocky. Have you seen that? He plays it on the guitar. And it's pretty cool. Like he has a slide. He has these guitars. They're like reverse Icemans, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Well, you're the Kiss guy. Paul Stanley had the Iceman. Paul Gilbert has a guitar that's basically flipped. It's opposite. So it's the same guitar, but let's say if you were to hold the guitar upside down, that's the Paul Gilbert model. It's an upside down Paul Stanley model. And he has a part on the guitar where he has a slide that sits. So anyway, if you guys get a chance, check it out. Just look up Paul Gilbert guitar solo 2024 or whatever. And he plays the Rocky theme. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty impressive.
You know, Paul was one of the lucky ones that got to attend a Randy Rhoads seminar over in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he got to go to the store and 2-hour seminar.
Oh, that's cool. It's called The Fireman? Okay, you guys are saying it's called The Fireman. Yeah. Paul Gilbert is the man. I've been listening to him as long as Eddie. I met Paul Gilbert a couple times. Well, I mean, obviously I've got a photo with him. I met him another time. And actually, it was very... it was important at the time that I talked to him because, as you guys know, you know, a couple of us, we have major like ear damage. I have major tinnitus in this ear. Like right now, it sounds like there's like a light just buzzing nonstop in front of this ear right here. It's terrible, but it's been so long, I'm used to it now. But anyway, when I met Paul Gilbert, the first thing I said to him was, hey, I know that you have these headphones that you wear, you know? And the thing is, a lot of, you know, unless you're a hardcore fan, Paul Gilbert, he's almost deaf. He has major hearing loss. And he actually reads lips a lot. And so what he was telling me, because see, I got these earplugs made by this specialist in San Francisco. And she had a pair of these headphones that were donated by Paul Gilbert. It was for like some auction or something. I remember looking at them and they had a speaker built into them. So I remember telling Paul, I'm like, hey, I saw a pair of your headphones that has a speaker. And he's like, yeah. He's like, he has a speaker so he can hear on the one side. But he's got the earmuffs to protect the rest of his hearing. Because his hearing it's damaged like you guys wouldn't believe, you know. But anyway, it was pretty important to ask him those questions because, well, this was several years after my ear damage, but still, it was early enough to where, I mean, if you get a chance to ask, you know, a major guitarist, musician that's out there that where you hear where they have major hearing, loss. So anyway, very cool dude. he's one of the. There's a few people, and they're all related in a way. Paul, if you guys ever get a chance, Paul Gilbert, Joe Satriani. I mean, two of the coolest dudes. And when I met them, totally cool. You know, it's like really no ego. No ego at all. But why would they have an ego? I mean, they're who they are, and you know.
Yeah.
But
I never understood the whole ego thing. I never understood that. Because no matter how good you are, there's always someone better. And yes, you're better than a lot of people, but there's still always someone better. So why have the ego?
well, and then if you want to take it a step further, I mean, yeah, you're talking just in general. You're talking guitar, you know, playing the guitar.
Yeah.
You know. The thing is, you guys know, I was signed years ago. I lived, you know, with Desmond Child. When that happened, that told me, like, when I saw, like, the music business from a totally different perspective than what you kind of think when you're reading the magazines and, you know, like, oh, I wonder what it's like to be a rock star.
Yeah.
It just means you're working. It just means you're busy. Yeah. Other than that, it doesn't mean anything.
People don't realize. I know when we got signed, people, you know, leading up to that, you're thinking, oh, great, money, limos, everything. That didn't happen. It's like, and they own you, basically. They freaking own you.
It depends on the deal that you sign.
Our deal, they owned us.
It depends on a lot of stuff, and you're lucky. You're lucky if you get to even just, you know, go back to White Lion, you know, any of those guys, to get to that level. You're lucky to get to that level, and then to stay at that level is even harder. It's even harder than getting there. You know?
They did for our wedding anniversary, which would have been our third wedding anniversary. They sent a limo to pick us up and took us into Pittsburgh, and they took us to a real nice restaurant, and they footed the bill for everything. That was like the nicest thing they did. Yeah, but people don't understand, you know, when they pay that money, you got to pay it back. They don't just give it to you.
No, it's a loan.
Yeah, people don't realize that, and
it's a loan.
That's what I always thought, you know, because I was one of those that had the big dream. Oh my God, get signed, have a mansion, be a millionaire. No. Nope.
Well, okay, we can talk about that for a little bit. I mean, yeah, I mean the whole, you know, guitar player dream. Well, see, it's different now. It's a totally different era now. Totally different world. Bottom line is you have to make things happen yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. I mean, yeah, if you're in a band, yeah, maybe this guy, you know, or this person's the one that writes. It totally depends. Whatever. You're wearing pants, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shorts.
Wasn't sure.
Shorts.
Oh, okay.
Silver shorts.
That was your leg we just saw, right?
No.
So wait a minute. Okay. Actually, you guys know I used to work at a guitar shop in Berkeley, California in the 90s. And this guy right here taught lessons in a back room.
Hi, this is Alex Skolnick, and you're watching Johnny Bean TV.
So I used to talk to Alex a lot back then. I mean, we still talk now. You guys know I saw him at the NAMM show and everything. And then actually, when I was living at Desmond's, Alex and I used to talk on the phone. Used to call him. Actually, you guys don't. Maybe you guys know this. Alex was in a band called Testament, Bay Area band, huge band. He left Testament in the early 90s. Was teaching guitar lessons at the shop I ended up working at. And then he's doing his own thing. Now, I've told you guys the stories about how his band, they were called Exhibit A. They opened up for Mountain. And so Alex and I were both watching Leslie West play Mississippi Queen right in front of us. He's doing his thing. We're like, it was amazing. Anyway, shortly after that, Alex moves to New York. He goes back to school. He goes to study jazz. He forms these bands. Totally different scene than Testament. But I remember talking to Alex one time. This was outside the lesson room. Outside. And, you think, oh, rock star. This guy's a rock star. And I remember, well, this goes back to the Ozzy thing. He auditioned for Ozzy Osbourne. This was in the mid-'90s, like 94-ish, somewhere. He actually went to England to audition for Ozzy. And he had a Les Paul, and another guy that worked at the shop worked on his guitar, installed pickups into it, and Alex took it to England to play with Ozzy. So I guess they jammed or whatever. So, but anyway, so I guess that didn't work out. So Alex comes back, and one of his students wanted the info to audition for Ozzy from him. It's like, and again, this is like the early mid-'90s, so there was no internet. There was none of that. Not like Instagram now or whatever. So, but I remember talking to Skolnick, and you're thinking, oh, this guy's a rock star. This guy's doing all that stuff, and yeah, but he's just a normal dude. Yep. Normal dude. And I remember one thing he told me is when they got signed, they wasted their money. They spent a lot of money on things like sunglasses and stuff. And it's like, he's like, yeah, we shouldn't have done that. Of course, now they're out there touring. They're out there doing their thing. But no, when you guys think rock star, that's an image.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an image thing. It's not necessarily. I mean, you guys can think whatever you want. Yeah, there's stories, but it's some of the biggest ones in the world where the legends and the stories of, oh, this guy threw a TV out the window and this guy, did this and whatever. There's only a handful of those guys, It's a business. It's just a business. And if you get to a certain level, and you want to stay at that level, you got to work harder than however you got there. I mean, just imagine, just as a guitar player, as a guitarist, a lot of bands, a lot of top bands, their guitar player might not sound nothing like the guy that influenced him. Those are the ones where, really, those are the ones that make it, quote unquote. Like the guy in Pearl Jam talking about how he was in a Kiss cover band when he was a kid. Totally different thing.
When we had Ace 2, mind you 2, I even did the smoke bomb. I had that hollow. It was a hollow body electric Japanese made, and actually Dane did a video last Halloween. He's got the same exact guitar. It's called the Haunted Guitar from Zim's Guitars. But I had that guitar, and wanting to be Ace, I lit the smoke bomb and shoved it through the F hole, and sat there. And oh well. Did that one too many times, burnt the wiring.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, my camera's off for a few minutes. Let me see. That's a couple comments here. Chris King, there's the ones that have the impact. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's entertainment. Entertainment, a lot of it's smoke and mirrors, you guys. I mean, I get it. Growing up, you're reading the guitar magazines. You're like, oh, man, this is unbelievable. And then at a certain point, when you start meeting, your heroes or a lot of these people, you realize, oh, they're just regular people. when I met Eddie. He was just a regular guy. He just looked like the guy that I grew up, you know? And yeah, he is the best. He is the best. But he wasn't born the Eddie Van Halen that we all know. He became that. And again, that's what his son is doing. Yeah, his son is born of Van Halen, but he's doing his own thing. And again, that's applause. Because just imagine the pressure of being born into something and having, you know, all these hardcore fans being like, oh, you know, we want you to be exactly like your dad or whatever.
Yeah, and then they would throw a fit because he wasn't his dad.
People are going to throw fits no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah, there's
going to be fits
whatsoever.
thrown. No matter what it is. Okay, how are we doing on time, you guys? Where are we at? Yeah, we'll go another 40 minutes, right? That'll be 3 hours.
Yeah,
that'll be even 3. We'll do an even 3 minutes. I still have a few stories. Real stories to get through. Okay, so we did that. Yeah, and again, sorry, my camera has to be off for a minute here.
Ned's cleaning himself.
Yeah. Ned's taking a bath. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, couple things. We don't really need to share the screen, but David Lee Roth dropped a couple of videos. Was it yesterday? Or was that today? Yesterday. David Lee Roth dropped a couple of videos. One of them was a cover of, what was it, Simon and Garfunkel? Was it? Is that what I said?
Yep.
He dropped a cover of Simon and Garfunkel's Baby Driver is the song. So if you guys have not heard it, let's put it into the chat here. I'll admit I am not familiar with the original tune. So, but there's the video right there. David Lee Roth, Baby Driver. There we go. And if you would, drop a comment over there saying Johnny Bean sent me. Let them know that we sent you guys over there. So that's one video. And then he dropped a couple videos. Another one he's calling Raven Rudy's Liberation Station. And it's basically one of those videos where he tells stories. And these are the ones I think most fans, I think they really dig. Is hearing, him talk and tell stories about stuff. So there's that video as well. So check out that video. And again, drop a comment over there saying Johnny Bean sent us. So this one, he's basically talking about how they'd be on tour and they had a roadie named Rudy Laren. And I actually have a photo. I uploaded a photo right here. I met Rudy years ago at the NAMM show. I just happened to run into him. Didn't even mean to. A good friend of mine, actually, I ran into a friend of mine, was talking to them, and then I turn around to look for my other friend that I was hanging out with. He's at this other booth talking to these people. And I walk up there and I see Rudy. And I'm like, wait a minute. I know who that is. And I say to him, I'm like, I know who you are. And he starts shaking his head like, nope. He's like, nope, you don't know me. He's like, you don't know me. And I'm like, you're Rudy. And anyway, we took a photo there, and he actually gave me his card. So I have his phone number.
You ought to get him on the show.
Well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, so if you guys listen to this latest Raven Rude's Liberation Station, this video, Roth is talking about Rudy here, about how he would make these drinks. He would make these drinks for the I guess for the crew, for the band, and Roth was basically saying the drinks were extremely strong drinks. So, anyway, click on that, listen to that if you haven't heard it yet. It's cool stuff. So there you go. So we got that. Ed's Guitar Tech. Yeah, that's him right there. That's Rudy Laren. He was the guy, he was with the band, I mean, during the classic era, he was with them before 78, but, 78 to 84. And then after that, Zeke Clark, who worked with Sammy. When Sammy came in, he brought in Zeke. So Zeke was there, was the guitar tech for Sammy and Edward during 5150, 0812. And then during Carnal Knowledge era, that's when Edward met Matt Brook, who really became Eddie's assistant from then on. He actually worked at the studio with him, really became his assistant. And now EVH, you guys know the company EVH Gear is ran by Matt Brook and Wolfgang. So when they're releasing new guitars and stuff, that's all through Matt. And that's something I tell people, because a lot of people, a lot of Van Halen, guitar fans, when they release something like this. I mean, obviously the SA-126 really is the Wolfgang Van Halen signature guitar. It really is. But that guitar neck is really based on the Bumblebee guitar neck. So that guitar, like you've never felt a guitar neck that felt like that on a semi-hollow guitar like that. It's an amazing feeling and sounding guitar. But anyway, so EVH is releasing. They have these. They call them like the Frankenstein Relic series. I'm sure you've seen them. They look like the striped up guitar, but without the stripes.
Yep.
Right, like solid colors, like the Relic and stuff. People are on the internet saying, "Oh, Van Halen never played that. That was whatever." And
I've heard so many things. I've heard people say, "Oh, it's just a money grab," and blah blah.
Just
blah.
A money grab, whatever. The thing is, it's an official guitar, officially through the company, through Van Halen's company. So it's an official Van Halen guitar. And the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is a lot of stuff like that gets pre-approved years in advance. Like your favorite guitar company, they could release a guitar next year, and if you do your homework and realize, wait a minute, they were actually working on that 5 years ago. So anyway, bedtime. Have a good night. Yeah, everybody, don't go to sleep yet. Stay awake. Let's do a couple more things here.
Well, are you doing the guess the number?
Yeah.
Well, you better start that now then.
Well, we know either Peggy or Sean will get it. Should we do that? All right, wake up, you guys. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll do one more story. Okay, maybe we don't have to make this in even 3 hours. I mean, you guys know these shows can be whatever. Okay, we're going to give this away right here. Van Halen O Purdue Woman 45. Brand new old stock. I bought this in 1990. It's never been played. If you want to win this. You got to guess Okay, so I have 4,000 already typed into there. Looks like you're asleep, actually. Oh, there you are. Is that high enough, or should we go higher than that? 7,000?
Yep. Been a while.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Roll it. Okay, you guys.
I was going to say 15, but...
Well, too late. If you guys want to win this 45, enter a number now between 0 and 7,000. Okay? And I know Peggy's going to win. I bet you Peggy is going to win. Okay. Okay, enter your numbers now. And while we do that, let's do one more story here. This was something we were actually gonna lead with this tonight, but it ended up being kind of a weird story. So you guys might know. Here, let's just how can we do this? Let's go to Facebook. Okay, you guys know our friends. They're called the Tapes Archive. Okay, they did like some Van Halen like documentaries. They released like a few different things a while ago. Okay, they've done other things. They did a Steve Vai one that's, I believe Steve was actually a part of. Anyway, the Tapes Archive posted this yesterday. Very interesting. Here, let's see if we can share the screen. Where is it? I know you guys are busy typing the numbers in, but
Peggy's only got to type in 10 different numbers.
Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to. Here, how can we do this? Hang on. Let me try to get this. Facebook likes to go crazy on us here. Okay, maybe I'll just read this. Dang it. Yeah, Facebook is not cooperating. Here, I'll show the photo. And then I'll read. Dang it. Probably should have started with this. Okay, here, we'll show the photo. Okay, it says the Van Halen Chronicles. Source material. 1979 16mm film transfer reels. Okay, so this looks like something that's not like this. It says Warner Brothers on it. This looks like something like what's this? Where did this come from? Right? So anyway, so the Tapes Archive, and again, you can go to their channels. They posted all this stuff. It's out there. Hang on one second. Here, let me go. Tapes Archive. Okay, so what it says here is Van Halen Holy Grail videos coming soon? ? Tapes Archive is saying he got an email. This was posted yesterday, so he's saying he got an email today from someone saying that new classic Van Halen videos coming soon. Turns out that the guy that supposedly sent the email to Tapes Archive emailed him saying that it wasn't him. And who knows if this stuff's possibly real, could be fake. Who knows? So a lot of people got really excited for these tapes. But after further research, it looks like possibly whoever has these tapes, I don't know. How was that? Was that good enough?
Cool story.
Thank you. Okay, so anyway, people were excited about these tapes.
But they never sent the tape to that guy.
No, they just sent a photo saying, hey, but then the guy that supposedly sent it said it wasn't him. He didn't do it. But then people are looking up this guy online and saying, "Oh yeah, this guy, like, yeah, I wouldn't. This isn't credible." So don't get excited if you guys see this. But supposedly it's like Van Halen live in Osaka, Japan, 1978, which is something we haven't seen. We've heard it. The audio is out there. Bootleg audio, but not officially filmed by Warner Brothers. But this is what this says it is Osaka 78 and then some 79 footage. And then somebody, and this is all over all the Van Halen groups. Somebody was saying all this stuff is actually silent. So there's actually no audio on this stuff. It's just video. So that's pretty interesting. But anyway,
well, match it to the audio that's out there, and there you go.
Well, that's what somebody would do. Somebody would do that. So anyway, if you guys happen to see that, yeah, it's like when I saw it yesterday, because people have been messaging me about it all day yesterday. People kept sending it to me, and I'm like, yeah, this looks interesting, but turns out it's just. So far, it's nothing interesting yet. There's like no proof of anything. I think that's what we're trying to say. So we'll try not to get excited about it. Although Tapes Archive, we love that stuff. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we saved that one because that was... I'm glad nobody watches this far into these videos. Warner Brothers should create AI video of 79 and release it. Dude, have you guys seen? I follow this one guy that does AI stuff on TikTok, and it's just creepy freaking stuff. Like what he'll do is he'll take like a viral clip of something,
yeah,
and then AI the rest of it, and it always turns into just like the creepiest thing you've ever seen. Like the end of The Simpsons, the very end of Simpsons where it shows the movie theater, the guy's like shh and it plays the music. He AI'd that where it continues on and it's just creepy, man. Check it out. It's just all jokes. It's just all funny. AI is weird. I know that. Okay.
Would have AI sing a song to a married woman.
Ugh. You could. You could do that. Okay, enter a number between 0 and 7,000 right now, and I'll since we like here. Let me give you guys a hint. 4 digits. 2 are the same.
Uh-oh. Peggy, you have it now.
And 2 of the numbers are only 1 number apart. Is that weird enough?
So, like 1, 2, 2, 3?
4 digits.
1, 2, 2, 3. 2 numbers are the same, and the other 2 are only 1 apart.
So it'd be like 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Or 1, 2, 3, 3. But yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 3. Something like that.
Ricky hit 1, 2, 3, 3.
Yeah. But it's not 1, 2, 3, 3. Or 2, 3, 4, 4.
Or 4, 4, 3, 2.
It's none of those. And if anybody's going to get it, it'll be Peggy. Maybe. All right. Anyway, what else? Okay, we talked about that. Yeah, I mean, bottom line, what I'm saying about that Tapes Archive, those photos, is it looks very interesting. But what people are saying online is the person that claimed to have that stuff is they're kind of sketchy. But then the person now that claimed to have this stuff is claiming they didn't send the photos to him. So it's kind of a weird thing. So who knows? Who knows what's going on?
So is it real or is it Memorex?
Well, it looks like it's Memorex, definitely.
Any update on the studio?
Yes, actually, I start painting tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Start painting.
I gotta get this farther.
There we go. So you guys know I'll be moving into a brand new studio coming up. And we start painting tomorrow. That means drywall is pretty much done. And then I just got to wire the place up.
What color?
I think it's going to be like a dark gray. I think.
Did you get the sound foam thing?
No, I got to do all that. I got to do all that stuff. Is it going to be stripes? Nah, it won't. It won't, although you guys know I'll be doing a lot of green screen stuff in there anyway, because we do all that stuff, for the video gaming and stuff. So I can make it look like anything. Really. On the inside, at least. And for those of you that get homesick, I will still have this background. It'll still be available, but I'll be in a totally different location.
It's available here and on other channels.
Well, how I was talking about cloning earlier.
Yeah.
Be yourself. That's the only way, man. Okay, wait a minute. Look at these numbers. Look at the two in the lead here.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Everybody else is kind of dropping out.
Oh no! Oh no! All right, one of you guys is getting warmer. You guys are good.
Is Dakota still here?
Nah, he left to go have pizza.
Suddenly?
Out of nowhere. Okay. What else? I don't know. I think that's pretty much.
So if you're going to be painting, then so you're still maybe 3 weeks out, 2-3 weeks out.
Oh, definitely, yeah. No, I'm still sticking to the schedule of end of the month, even though we're a few days in. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm still sticking to early September, maybe. But if you guys don't know, if you're not aware, I'm moving into a brand new studio, and once I'm in there, you guys will be getting more content, more videos, more interactive videos, more guitar stuff. I'll have a guitar workbench in there. Ron has a guitar workbench. We'll be building guitars, working on guitars together on stream. So you guys can watch us. Answering questions. Influencing. Although I think I already did that.
Well, I did get
several times.
I did get Scotty to buy Seymour Duncan pickups.
Were they wound by somebody?
He's trying to get them wound by her. Yeah.
Oh, crap. I think one of the things we'll do is we'll alphabetize all these videos, because we literally have, I can't even see it. It's not oh, there it is. By MJ?
Hi, this is MJ from the Seymour Duncan NAMM 2023 in Anaheim, California. You're watching Johnny B.
Johnny B.
Johnny B. Okay? And thanks for all your support.
Yeah. Look at that.
I need that to stick on her photo.
Future giveaway.
A lot of guys have pinup calendar girls and stuff like that at their bench. I got MJ on mine.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, you guys. Seymour Duncan. MJ.
Wait, did you say Seymour Duncan?
I did say Seymour Duncan. And if I can find it, I'll play it. But it's impossible. Because what happens is I move all these videos around. Oh, here it is.
There we go.
Hi guys, Seymour here at the Dam 2019 with Johnny Bean. We're having a good time and enjoy.
Yes, everybody. Seymour Duncan pickups. They're the best.
They are the best.
I got whole walls of them right here.
They are the best. Especially the ones wound by...
Hi, this is MJ from the Seymour Duncan NAM 2023 in Anaheim, California. You are watching Johnny B. Johnny B. Okay? And thanks for all your support.
I have 3 guitars in here with EMGs. One
wound by...
I don't know who did EMGs. And I got one with the Sir, but the rest are all MJs.
Very cool.
Hey, I did influence Laz earlier this week. I'm not going to say why. I'm going to let him explain it in his show. But I did influence Laz earlier this week.
I think he sent me a photo. Let me see. How are we doing on the giveaway? Has anybody won yet? Not yet. 4 digits. 2 are the same, and 2 of the numbers are 1 digit apart.
What's the first number?
Can't tell you.
You still got to guess 3.
Yeah, but then not really. You have to guess 2 because...
Okay. Well, all right. What's the last number?
Can't tell. I can't. That's as much as I can say.
Peggy wants to know what the 2 that are the same are.
I did get some photos. Am I allowed to show this? Hey, Johnny, all the Randy talk had me pull the trigger. Ron's fault. He sent me the link to this. Couldn't resist. Is he in here?
He was.
Laz, are you in here?
Laz, are you here?
Whose room is this? You saw these photos?
He don't have it, yeah. If they're the photos from the ad, yeah.
No way! Peggy won! No way! No. Oh my God. How did you do it? Wait a minute. Where's the winning number? Where is it? There it is. 4 digits. 2 of the numbers are 1 digit apart. 2 of the numbers are the same. Wow. Unbelievable. Well, add this to the pile of previously owned Johnny Bean things. Oh, Pretty Woman 45, this is yours. And I already have your info memorized, so no need to send it. 1, 2, 3. No, just kidding. Actually, no, do send it, please, because I...
Dang it, Peggy's going to win yet again, I tell you what. Dang it, Peggy.
Text me at that number. I will send it. There you go. That's for you. Oh, my gosh.
Sean, it's over.
He's still trying.
Peggy's back on top.
Okay. Should I show this?
Laz was there. I don't know where Laz, you still here?
Laz, where are you? Anyway, wow, he's not here. Okay. Looks like Laz has something new showing up.
Made in Japan.
There we go. You were going to get that, right?
Yeah.
And he ordered it.
Yep.
No way. Cool.
EMG's Floyd Maiden J Apan. Jackson Gig Bag.
There you go. Is
Peggy
Peggy AI?
I just got another notification. Someone made an offer on something I'm watching. What else you buying, Laz?
Oh, wait, Peggy just called in. Peggy, are you AI? Congratulations.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys. All right, we're gonna get out. We're gonna get out of here. Although I think Ron's gonna show us the guitar that he's gonna buy.
No. Laz bought.
No.
I do have a couple more I'm watching.
Thank you to our channel members. And Peggy is not AI, you guys. Come on.
Wait, though, John, I do have one you would like.
Shane. Oh, yeah. Ron, I sent you a message. Did you ever get that message?
Which one?
I'll tell you afterwards.
Here's one you would like, Johnny. I know you would.
G&L. Right?
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Big metal flake, too. Look at that.
Look at that.
They only want $2,100 for that.
Yeah, get two.
Yeah, well, what's it? Although I did find a Telecaster for you, though.
Is it that orange one that you have in the back? Look at that. Dude, that guitar would be invisible if I use that in front of my green screens. Dude, that's what I need. Dude, I need a guitar. I need a guitar totally. I need you to paint me a guitar this color. So when I play it, it's totally invisible.
Send that straight. All you'll see is the neck and pickups.
I want you to paint the entire guitar green. Can you do that? Like everything. And I'm just playing invisible. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Is that possible? You guys, I told you when I get in the new studio, I'll be playing invisible guitars. It'll be awesome. What do you guys think of that? I'll be playing an air guitar. ASMR will become the air guitar ASMR show.
RSR.
What do you guys think of that? Oh, that's awesome. Awesomeness. Okay. All right. We're out of here, I think. I think we're leaving. You guys, refresh your browsers. Let's get to 400 views live. We can do it. We're almost there. We're
Call
almost
of Duty later?
400 views. Call of Duty in about an hour.
Wait, did you find the clip?
Twitch.
It'd be from like 2 days ago.
Let me look real quick. Really quick. Let me try to find it. Because I'd have to download it. Oh, that reminds me. I was gonna show a clip from yesterday where I was playing that gold Wolfgang. I totally forgot. Check out yesterday's video, you guys. I was at Guitar Center.
What did they want for that sunburn?
Right here. What?
What did they want for that sunburn Charvel?
It's in the video, I think. I don't remember.
You didn't show the price.
Oh, well then I don't know.
It had a pink tag on it. I do know that.
I don't know. Okay, when was this video?
Like probably 2 days ago.
Clips. created. Oh, crap.
So it'd be either August 2nd or 3rd. Or today's the 6th.
Wait, last month? That's all last month. Oh, it's a new month.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't played since August, have we?
Yeah.
Well, that says last month. Was this the most recent? Wait. What am I doing? Unfeatured? No, I want to feature it. Wait a minute. Ah, crap. Oh, wait. 3 days ago.
Yeah, that's it.
Is this it? I don't know if this is it. Was I drilling the safe?
I don't remember. Maybe.
Let me download a couple here real quickly. You guys know Ron and I, we play Call of Duty. We play video games live on Twitch every night. We have a great time. And yeah, I know where you guys are thinking, you guys are just playing video games. No. We hang out. We talk rock music. We talk guitars. We continue these conversations later on for a couple.
Johnny cusses like a
hours.
sailor.
And I say words you guys have never heard me say before. Like darn it and golly. Well, I mean, I'm finding these clips. I don't know if these are. Yeah, I we'll have to look for it. Although I did just find one clip here. Video file. I'll show what I found. I was drilling the safe on the train. I think. Or no,
Johnny always goes for the safes. And when you do that, it attracts hundreds of other people coming to
here's a clip. And Janice, take off your earphones because Janice thinks these clips are loud. Warning you guys. Yeah. Here's some video game content. This is us on Twitch. Okay? Check this out. This is us right here. Damn it. See, I just said damn it.
Get over here.
Come here, King Big Wook. Is this the clip?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, my save is open.
They're throwing a grenade. Hey! Where you at?
Everybody out of my way. Stuff's mine. Was that it?
No, I was thinking about the one where the guy was reviving you.
Everybody out of my way. This stuff's mine. Anyway, I can't find it. But see, as you guys see, we play games. We have a great time. We hang out. That was Ron was there. I was there. Ron streams on his Twitch channel, so you can watch both channels at once. We have a lot of fun. So tune in. We'll be over there a little later. ! Twitch in the chat. All right. Let's go. Thank you for watching, you guys. Smash that thumbs up.
Are we going to do a Friday or Saturday show?
Probably.
Okay. So we'll see you guys then. Well, he'll see you before then. But
I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. General admission. Welcome, man. Come on over to Twitch, man. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
And then I'll give you mine, so come back around this way.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Mike, hi.
How you doing?
I'm Johnny Bean. I met you last year. I talked on Google Plus.
Oh, I remember you. Yeah.
I look like,
all right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. He was on a Google Plus hangout.
I'm Johnny Bean.